All right, so we made it here. We're on the 401 Trafalgar westbound inspection stations here. I got to jump in with Grant, and we came out of Aurelia. He picked me up just down the 400, and so I had a great experience just to talk about road safety and truck safety and what we see every single day. And Grant, I'm going to flip this around here. Beautiful truck. I particularly like what's on the back of the truck,
yeah.
what's loaded.
And you're after the new one. Probably,
yeah,
right?
I want the Tahoe in the front here, but the Charger's looking good as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome. So we had a great time driving up here, and obviously we saw a lot of traffic, slowdowns, quick stops all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But yet the way you were driving, it really wasn't a problem at all because you have that distance. You stop well in time and you slow down well in time. You weren't even hitting the brakes at all in a panic. There was no risk of any collision at any time.
Well, that's my point when I was telling you earlier. If you're aware of what's around you, you shouldn't have that issue.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you can see a long way up and you can see what's going on, you won't have that issue. There won't be a panic stop. There is the odd one that jumps right out in front of you. There's nothing you can do, but it was a relatively safe trip down. Yeah, it was good.
It was good. And there were cars that were cutting off and jumping in front of you and taking away your following distance, and you adjust accordingly. And even if you were riding someone's bumper, you're pushing someone out of the way, you're not going to get to where you're going any faster because you're still stuck in traffic.
It's all a matter of time. You're not going to get anywhere any faster. You want to get there safely. That's the main thing.
Yeah, Nick, you like the Tahoe, do you? Right on. So we're going to take a quick look here at the truck. I got Officer Sanna here as well from the MTO here at the truck inspection station. You've been doing truck inspections for
almost 16 years now.
16 years, wow. And you've seen your fair share of vehicle defects. And
Absolutely. I've seen my fair share of vehicle defects, but I've also seen my fair share of professional drivers. And
yeah.
So we're hoping to find.
Absolutely.
We're hoping to find.
And so how did this truck fare?
This truck fared fairly well. I mean, it's a clean bill of health. We did a great inspection on it. We gave the driver some excellent information as well, and it's a pass the level 2 inspection, and it looks fine.
Right on. So let's just take a quick look at it. I just want to take a look at what we have on the load here. You know, I'm maybe a little partial to the load, but yet obviously, most importantly, we got to make sure these loads are secure. And so when you're doing your inspection, what are some of the first things you're going to be looking at?
Some of the first things we're looking at, I mean, we like to see things that are easily accessible. But we take a look at the airlines, make sure nothing's damaged, make sure there's no air leaks.
Yeah.
Take a look at the load security, obviously, the means to secure the load.
Yeah, so in this case, it's a car. So he's strapped down with the straps?
Yeah, we want 4 straps on the car. Legally, he has to have 2 that are working properly. Guys tend to put 4 straps. Take a look at the straps, make sure they're secure, make sure they're loose, make sure there's no cut in the braids. And we just, as we're walking around, we keep our eyes open, take a look, make sure there's no flat tires, no loose fasteners, and it's pretty easy to do. You take a look at this, no cracks in the rim, fasteners look pretty tight, air pressure looks pretty good. Take a look at the tires on the outside, make sure there's no bulges, make sure there's no cuts in the tread, no cuts in the sidewall. And I mean, we like to take a quick peek, make sure the tires aren't touching. That's another indicator that he might be overloaded or tires are underinflated. And then we just continue our walk.
Yeah.
The whole time that we're doing our walk, we make sure we communicate with the driver, make sure that he knows where we are for officer safety. And we also like to give them some information, some tips. Maybe they weren't given some tips while they were trained to do their inspection. So we want to help them out in the process as well. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're going to let this guy leave pretty safe.
Yeah, so here we got our police cars here. I'm looking at the police cars, but obviously this car hauler is capable of carrying maybe 5 or 6 cars at once. 6 police cars at once. So and we've got them all strapped down. We got 2 police cars and another minivan loaded on top. They're all strapped down nice and tight.
All fresh straps. No straps are damaged. None of them are cut. We did take a look at this vehicle already, but I mean, we like what we see. We like the way it was loaded.
Yeah.
We took a look at the driver's paperwork. All the paperwork is ordered as well. And that's the things we want to see. We want to make sure it's working well. All of his lights are working great, especially the lights to the rears. We want to inform the drivers that we need these lights working in the rear. We don't want to step on the brakes and have no brake lights working. When you have vehicles behind you, you're not giving them enough leeway to stop. So we want to let let guys know how important it is that the rear lights are working on
Yeah.
these tractor trailers.
So you're like 75 feet long or
Yes,
longer.
yeah, 75.
When you're hauling down the highway here, you got to make sure your lights are going. Your tight trailer will track inside when you're making a turn. So you're making those tight turns. You got to be careful about who's kind of in your path. And you always see those signs. If you can't see me in my mirrors, I can't see you, right?
Absolutely, that's right. Yeah.
And so, as much as we're looking at the mechanical defects, we really want to talk about the human factors and the driver's attention inside the vehicle. Making sure they're taking the time to be diligent. Hours of work is important. The daily inspections are obviously important, but really the attention to driving is foundationally the most important thing that you need to have, because you can be inattentive and you can have a safe truck. It can be a collision waiting to happen if you're not paying attention.
Absolutely. That's what we were saying on the way down. If you're not looking all the time, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So this truck is all loaded up here. He's out making deliveries. Usher Sanna is.
We're just checking the fuel level. Make sure that he has the proper amount of fuel levels. Very easy to see. We got the window here.
Yeah.
We like that. Believe it or not, we like to see that the windows are scrubbed here, and we know that the guys actually had a chance to take a peek at it.
Exactly.
Just some of the telltale signs that we know the guys have done their inspection.
So tell me about some of the trucks that are here right now. And I know this truck here just came in for a routine pad inspection.
This was a routine inspection. Looks like a fairly clean truck, but lo and behold, after the officer does his inspection, we found some stuff wrong, and some stuff that yeah, it is a bit disappointing when we find some of the issues that are wrong. Simple lights that aren't working. Some signal lights aren't working. I believe there's a brake light out on this truck. There's actually an air leak at the glad hands. Passes the air loss test, but again, it is an air leak. Wasn't noted on the trip inspection. Things that we don't like to see. We want guys to do a proper inspection, make the notes on their trip inspection, let the boss know. And if they do let the boss know, they show it on their trip inspection. It tells us that they've done a proper inspection.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this other dump truck here. I know there's some issues with that one as well. May not have been noticed during the inspection when it started, but there was a massive failure while the vehicle was being driven.
That's right.
And I know the tower here has got the vehicle hooked up and towed. Got the chains out, and what some of the simple things, making sure the chains are set properly.
Absolutely, making sure the safety chains are off the ground, guys. Can't stress that enough. These safety chains are a last resort. If this truck pops off its connection here, we got these safety chains that are supposed to, protect this truck from being disconnected.
Absolutely. Come over here. So this truck was stopped by one of our officers, and has brought him in here for an inspection. And obviously, he had a major issue. Do you want to just tell me what they found?
Yeah, take a look here. I mean, I don't know how much you can zoom in, Gary, but we got some mechanical components that have failed here.
Yeah. So a huge oil loss all over the truck, and you can see from that compressor right there,
leaking.
The whole base has just blown right out, and was blowing oil all across the highway.
All across the highway. It's contaminated the brakes here, which is a big no-no on our end. We don't want these brakes contaminated, because now, I mean, it's an imminent failure of braking.
Yeah, you lose your stopping power.
Absolutely. It's in the friction material, the brakes. So we definitely, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
Stop, pull over, make sure it's safe, and stop continuing with your trip, because it's not safe to do so.
Yeah.
And general condition of the truck. These trucks go through job sites. These trucks are going to be dirty, absolutely. Doesn't necessarily mean that the truck is in poor condition, but we want to take a peek at it now, knowing that we've had a failure.
Yeah.
And
so we've got officers here all across from Halton Region, MTO, OPP, all doing inspections, all working together for the common
same cause. The same cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter if you're driving a passenger vehicle, a cargo van like this one. This is being inspected. It's got a few issues already. Some vehicles, emergency brakes, signals. The window on this vehicle is all smashed out.
Yeah, we want to make sure it's not in the driver's view.
So that's all.
These are not our MTO's everyday client.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we get to work together with the OPP and get our hands on some of these vehicles that we don't see every day, because we concentrate mostly on larger vehicles.
Yeah, and we're not immune to it as well. So we came in here and got our inspection done, and we passed. And everybody should pass. It's part of the standard expectation.
Absolutely.
If you're going to be driving a large truck down the highway, you need to do your inspection every 24 hours. And when you're driving, make sure you're putting your full attention to the task of driving, because it is a complicated business up here. And I'm just going to jump in the truck here right now, and there's a lot going on. And when you're looking down, sure, you've got mirrors in front, on both sides.
You've got your gauges here that give you an indication if there is something wrong. Make sure you pay attention to your gauges.
Yeah. So here, let's just. Anybody's got some questions here to an MTO officer? It's not all about revenue. It is all about road safety and traffic safety. We're doing what we can to keep our roads safe.
Absolutely.
You need to do your part as well. So if you got a question here about truck safety, what is your pet peeve? What's your biggest concern that you have out on the roads? What drives you nuts?
Absolutely.
And let me know, are you a truck driver or are you a four-wheeler? Any comments? Anyone wants to say anything? Great job, guys. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
Eric.
And we'll just scan around here while we're waiting for someone to ask a question. There's that truck that just came in on the pad. There's Grant, our OPP transport hauler, just talking about his day with some of the folks that are here. And we've got officers scanning around. So if you stop a truck on the side of the road, what's your expectation for scheduled maintenance? Too bad more people don't put as much thought into it as well. Cheaping out isn't the way to go. It would be beneficial if cars were inspected annually as well. It's shocking how many cars go down the road with lights out and broken headlights. Always getting cut off daily. Thank you, Kerry. Many truckers don't pay attention. Well, and that's what we want people to do. Let me just turn this around here.
Yeah, let's put our phone down.
Stay to the right. Stay to the right unless you're passing. And family of truck driver. Beautiful. Not enough safety blitzes. Hey, Al. Thanks, Al. Truck driver. You're a truck driver. Awesome. Thanks for listening along.
Absolutely.
People on their cell phones. And do you know what? Even if you have your Bluetooth in your vehicle and you're driving hands-free, you're still thinking about your conversation, and that can be distracting as well. And that may be the difference between stopping in time and not stopping. Are you still checking for trucks to be governed? Governed? Absolutely. 105 speed limit?
Absolutely. Speed limiters are still in effect.
Truck driver message with a phone number. All OPP license for this. So we have officers that have special training, like the MTO, that do the CVSA commercial vehicle safety inspections. The HTA, the Highway Traffic Act, is very specific as to what's allowed on the highways with their regulations, and any officer can enforce that. Some officers do more commercial vehicle inspections. You guys are dedicated to that.
Absolutely.
And that's one great thing why we have the MTO out here doing these inspections, and we get to work along with them as well.
Absolutely. We get to share some expertise.
A devoted lane for trucks. You get the buses to stay in the center lane, or buses to be in the hammer lane. See more MTO pulling people over on the highway, not just in the scales. Oh, you have mobile trucks.
We do have mobile inspectors right now. Quite a few in some regions. Some regions don't have scales. So yes, absolutely, we do have mobile guys.
Yeah, and if you see what you think is a dangerous driver, you can call the MTO, I think, but you can call the OPP.
Absolutely.
Star OPP on your cell phone. They want to see more. They want to see more of you guys pulling them over. So we're out there. They're stopping trucks. We're stopping trucks.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you don't see us. We'll probably stop them and then take them off the highway, so we're not a visual distraction. What's the heaviest thing I can tow without being overweight? A 3,500 tow truck. You got to be careful with that. Even though you got a 1-ton truck, if it's a dually or a single rear wheel, you look at your axle ratings, but it's very easy to overload your axles, and you don't want to unbalance your front end as well, because you might have loose steering or no weight in the front end.
And at the same time, feel free to come into the scales. If you want to ask some questions, we're more than happy to help.
Yeah, awesome. Beautiful. More MTO. Thanks, Caitlin.
I like that, Caitlin.
So anyways, we're going to continue doing our inspections here.
Take a peek,
and we're going to be driving. I'll be back in this truck here later on this morning, and we'll do some more lives from the truck. But thank you very much, Adriano.
Absolutely, thank you.
Appreciate you allowing us to work with you today. And there you go, Rob Kane. Morning, cool, thanks. Bob, thanks, guys.
Drive safe, everybody.
Hey, right on. We'll see you again soon. Have yourself a great day. Drive safe. Today is the National Day of Remembrance for road safety, road crash victims. Many people are suffering from injuries and fatalities, and families have a life sentence of grieving those losses, and for the most part they are preventable. So let's remember those today and every day, and let's do our part so they don't happen again.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Charlene. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care.